Mr. Douglas, how are you?
I'm fine, Mayor Neal. How are y'all doing? Tom, I saw you.
Yeah, I didn't.
You and I have on the same outfit.
Did y'all color coordinate for tonight?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Tom sent me a memo.
Tom, you're missing your hat.
Yeah. Tom needs a cap like yours.
Yeah.
It's 9066. Is that James?
No, that's Sandra.
That's me.
Okay. Okay. And male is always Carolyn, right?
That male's Carolyn.
Okay.
Katrina Minor is really Tom.
Yeah, I'm Katrina, not Abby today.
He was Abby Douglas the other day. Abby, sorry, that's not her, Abby Odom. Sorry, that's not her last name. Jason.
Hello, Jason.
Hello. Hey, Ronnie, how you doing?
It's fine.
That's good.
So I guess James is the only one missing at this point?
Yes.
He still has a minute.
Yes, he does. How are you, Judy?
Doing good. Bored.
Bored?
Yeah, I'm getting ready to call the State Farm guy and ask him what he's wearing.
Oh.
Very bored.
I bet it's a red shirt and khakis.
I bet it is too. I hope it is.
Well, I guess this is the last board meeting on Zoom, right?
Well, currently, unless he changes it at the end of the month, unless we're going to have to meet here in July if we're going to meet. Because Martin's not open yet.
That'd be like old times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a meeting in there the other day with just a couple people, and I had to figure out how to do it all over again. I forgot.
Okay, how's that?
That's good. Now you're in the boardroom.
Yep.
You had that background all over?
Yeah.
Ah,
Took a
Ronnie.
picture of that. I can use that. I can use UTM. I've got a couple of golf courses.
Yeah.
So you
You're
don't
just-
ever really know where I am.
You're just so technical.
I had a meeting with Bob and Mindy one day, and Bob said, "Why don't you come on in here in my office instead of sitting there in the boardroom?" I'm not sitting in the boardroom. I'm at
Oh,
home.
that's funny.
It looked like it to me.
It absolutely does.
Yeah.
Okay, it's 7:01. We're still missing James. Is that right?
Yeah.
Mindy, do you have his number? Could you call him and see if he's
Yes, sir.
having trouble or? Well, wait a minute. Somebody else has joined. 3243. Who is this?
Lofties.
Okay.
Oh,
All right.
James.
Good. Good. Glad to see you got on. All right. Welcome. All right.
Thank you.
We will go ahead and get started. Call the meeting to order. On an opening prayer, would someone like to volunteer to say a prayer to open the meeting?
Yeah, I'll say one.
Okay.
Everybody ready?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right, bow your heads. Dear Heavenly Father, thanks for letting us be able to come together tonight. Dear Lord, please be with us as we make decisions that will best suit the town. Dear Lord, please be with us in our trying times with what's going on in our nation. Please protect us from all the wrongdoings and the bad people. Dear Lord, please forgive us for our many sins. We pray in your name. Amen.
Next item on the agenda is the roll call. Have you taken the roll call?
Yes, sir. Everybody's here.
Okay. Public hearing for the purpose of discussing ordinance 2020-003, an ordinance of the town of Somerville adopting the annual budget and setting the tax rate for fiscal year beginning July 1, 2020 and ending June 30, 2021. That will be on second reading tonight. Is there anyone who would like to be heard at the public hearing? I declare it open.
I just noticed that it still says alternate at the top because we had two of them. So anyway, I'll make sure that's off of there next time. I mean, I'll make sure it's off of there for publication.
Yeah, we don't need to. Is there anybody else on the line that would like to comment on the budget? Seeing none, I'm going to declare the public hearing closed and move to item number 3.5, approval of board meeting minutes. You have in your packets the minutes from the regular May 11th, 2020 board meeting and the minutes of the June 2nd, 2020 workshop. Are there any additions or corrections to the written minutes that you have in your packet? If not, the minutes stand approved as written. Number 6 is comments from the community. We don't have anyone here from the community on the call tonight, do we? I can see who is. So I assume there are no comments from the community. The mayor's comments. The only thing I would like to say tonight is that we do want to congratulate all the high school graduates and the college graduates that have, there were graduations over the weekend at I know Fed Academy, and I believe Fed Ware is coming up in the next couple of weeks, I believe.
I think the 16th.
16th, okay.
Yes, sir.
So we would like to congratulate all of them. In fact, I think it would be inappropriate since the way this is happening this year, if we were to run an ad in the paper, Bob,
Okay.
from the board and from the employees in Somerville congratulating both high school graduates and college graduates this year, if that's agreeable with the board.
Yes, that's agreeable.
Okay, a lot of them kind of got missed out on what a lot of people get to go through as they wind up either their college or their high school years, and I think we need to take notice.
Can't imagine what my life would have been like if I hadn't had the second half of my senior year. Mine was pretty exciting, but you know, I had a lot of stuff going on that year, being a senior in the band and all that stuff.
Yep, makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
I hate that they missed that over this, but there was no way around it, obviously. Item 8.1, consent agenda. Does anybody wish anything pulled off of the consent agenda? Not hearing any request to pull anything off the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
I move. Second.
And moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Uh,
That will stand as a roll call. Any opposed? That will stand as a roll call vote for approval of the consent agenda. Next item of business is a motion to approve including the requested 501c3 donations to the fiscal 21 year budget in the amount of $8,500. You have a list of those.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve that list. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. 8.3, a motion to adopt ordinance 2020-03, an ordinance establishing the budget and the annual tax rate for fiscal year 2020-2021 on second reading. So this is the final reading on the budget for 2021 and setting the tax rate at the same amount as in the past year, which is 68. We carried out 4 places.
68.02 cents.
68.02.
Yes.
Wonder what it would, how much money we'd lose if we lopped off the 02.
Let's see.
Don't worry, no, never mind. That
No,
was not a
that's okay.
serious-
I have to
that
change
was
the
not
ordinance
a
to do that. I
serious
heard.
question.
We lopped off another, remember? And I don't know if you remember way back when, but Austin messed it up. I don't know what happened or something happened exactly. I don't remember. We got the tax rate, the new tax rate in 17 late, and we actually didn't increase it to what it was supposed to be, which was like 68.4 or something like that. So anyway.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve the budget on second reading?
So moved.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Is there any, Bob, do you need to point out anything?
Now, the tax rate's the same. I adjusted the few figures that we had to adjust. What wasn't really much in there. Everything looks pretty healthy and everything is budgeted positively, and I think we're ready to go.
Did we add any pay increases on this right here?
No, there are no pay increases. So what we're
Okay, so
planning
we
to
did
do is,
put off
what
right
I
now?
think the board is planning to do is to just see how the revenue falls in the next few months, maybe could as many as 6 months. We'll see what happens. Once the revenue is established and we are continuing, we could always make an adjustment at a later date, maybe pay a one-time bonus to catch up for the first half of the year and then give them a pay raise in the second half of the year, or however we want to do it. So there's ways we can catch it up pretty easily, I think.
All right.
Well, the state revenues came out today for the month of May, and state sales tax is off 13% for the month of May. And all the other figures were off too. So
I lowered the state shared sales tax by 20% in the budget over last year's.
well, that's for this year, and I don't think we really know how we're going to be affected on sales tax before probably September, October.
Right, because people are still buying a lot of meat at the grocery store. They're still doing stuff like that, basically still hoarding to a certain extent.
Yeah, and I don't know what the long-term effects of that will be on our revenues.
Well, last month was a lot higher, wasn't it, than,
Yes,
Yeah,
it was.
Yeah, we did
Very
52.
high.
We had the biggest March ever.
yeah.
So
Mr. Douglas, what is the banking industry predicting?
Well, it appears that the economy is coming back. I know they had a good jobs report. We're slowly opening back up our lobbies. That's excluding Shelby County, Fayette County, and DeSoto County, but regionally, Texas, Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, all of those are doing well enough that they're opening their lobbies back up. It's certainly not business as usual, but as far as the direction that everything is going in, it looks like that V we talked about earlier is at least going to be a good solid U as far as coming back up. But I think everybody's pretty optimistic.
Okay.
Mayor,
Yes, sir.
could I get some clarification on the employee position document? It is part of this approval, is that correct?
That's right.
Okay. When I look at, in the charter, 4C, and in the municipal code 4202, 3, and 7, I believe it addresses that once we approve this, it must be brought back to us to, if it is amended or revised. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, that's what you're adopting tonight.
I understand. But if revised or amended, it would be brought back to the board.
I'm not sure I'm following you. Obviously, if people began to get raises, then it would have to come back to the board.
Okay.
Is there-
I'm speaking of any position.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure exactly what you're looking at or
I can tell you
hinting
that
at.
I can tell you that one of the officer positions is currently budgeted at a full-time position, but is being filled by Brooke, who went to part-time last month. If we do find a suitable replacement, one of the part-timers will probably have to go, I guess.
The
So-
part-time, I mean, should we not have a number on there up to a certain number? as
So she's
far as
working up to
part-time?
29 hours a week.
No, I'm talking about numbers of employees is what I'm talking about.
Right. The numbers of employees are right.
I'm talking about part-time. It just says part-time police officer. But I mean,
There's
should we
one
not
part-time
have
police officer.
up to 10 part-time police officers or up to 4? Or,
Well, there's
you know?
one right now, and Brooke is also working part-time for the position that she went to part-time on. But
Okay.
that is budgeted as one of those full-time officer positions is Brooke's position. Can you understand that?
I understand it, but I think
Yeah.
it ought to be made clear in the document.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, I don't mind paying both of them out of the part-time thing, but I think we ought to have a cap on the number of employees that any one time can be paid out of that. It's not a line item. It's a, part of the, what I call a position control document.
Right. So the number of positions will not change. The only thing is that one full-time position that was held by Brooke before was budgeted as a full-time position that she is now doing as a part-time position. So even though she is getting paid as a part-time employee, that position is budgeted as a full-time position. And whenever we do fill that position, then it will become full-time, and then we'll go down to one part-time officer after that.
Okay.
not
Well,
gonna
that's
keep
the
two
problem
part-time
I'm
officers.
having is
Part-
having a part-time person in a full-time position.
That's
Well-
temporary until we find somebody as a replacement.
Well, I think we're going outside the document.
Well, I mean, obviously, if you had 4 policemen quit, you'd probably have to have 4 part-time people so you could hire some people. So, I mean, are you saying we'd have to come back to the board and approve hiring part-time people, even though they're going to be paid out of a full-time salary?
Well, out of a full-time position.
Yeah.
I would say you would be paying them out of that part-time position. It could be more than one person being paid out of that position.
Well, I mean, I don't, I guess we can try to make this a lot more complicated than it is, but
Well, I don't think that's making it complicated at all. And then
so
I
what,
mean, it's all coming out of general fund balance, isn't it?
yes, but it's not doing what the document said. It's not doing what we approved that the document says.
So can we not just put her as a part-time person and her position still be budgeted as a full-time person? I mean, she
You can
went
do
to
anything
part,
anybody wants to do.
she went to part-time, so she's technically a part-time employee. Her
That's
position,
correct.
her position technically is still open. She's doing the duties of what her position was, but the position of full-time police officer, her slot is still open. And if we hire someone, we'll put it in, full-time, we'll put it in her position, and that will cover that budget. So,
Well, I personally think this list is a snapshot of the positions available on July 1st. Now, if you want me to change one of those officer positions to part-time, I can
No.
do that.
No,
No.
no. I think we ought to have.
So we never change during the entire
part-time
year.
positions
We don't change anything
capped
during
at-
the entire
oh,
year.
no, everybody can't talk at once, especially
Sorry.
over this Zoom.
Sorry.
Okay.
Go ahead,
One at a
Mike.
time, please.
Thank
Go
you.
ahead, Mike.
To remain that full-time position open, I think it should have a cap on number of people that can be paid in that part-time position.
I'm not following you. I don't know what you mean.
Yeah, I'm not
Okay.
following either.
Okay.
There's one part-time position and there are 10 full-time positions,
well,
including the chief and the assistant chief.
just create another part-time position, and that should solve the problem.
If
you
you
got-
want.
If she's part-time and we have another part-time police officer, just create another part-time position.
I can
leave
just
hers
put
open
dash
and
part-time
budget
next to the
hers
spot. Yeah.
And pay her out of a part-time position. That should solve it. It's still all coming out of general fund money.
Yeah. The problem is that when we hire a full-time officer, we won't have the budgeted money in there to hire him.
Yeah, if we still budget her position, it will, which we're budgeting it anyway. Just create another part-time position and add that to the budget. Limit the number of hours that we allow another part-time officer
But
work.
it'll add another $30,000 to
It'll
the
add,
budget.
it'll add
to put
another
her in a
employee.
position
You
for a
don't
part-time
want to
position.
do that.
It'll add an unnecessary $25,000-$30,000 extra in the thing just to create a position for her at her rate, at her pay rate.
Bob, all you need to do is say, we can have up to 2 or 4 part-time people paid out of that, what was it, $24,000.
That represents one officer at part-time, working 30 hours a week.
I'm not sure why we want to limit it. I mean, we limit it through the amount of money that we've budgeted, and whether that gets spent through one person or 2 people or 3 people, as long as it doesn't go over $24,000, it seems to me it's in the budget. Isn't it?
I think that's what I was kind of referring to, is that if we have a part-time position and it's budgeted at X amount of dollars, and then we leave her position open, which is a full-time position for another officer, that money is still budgeted if we hire another full-time officer. I agree with Ronnie. I don't think we should have a limited number of people that we can put part-time. if we need to add more money to that one part-time slot or for part-time officers, then maybe we need to look at that. And she can just, part of her pay would just come out of the part-time salary.
Bob, isn't all the matter is that you have a full-time approved position and that person with management's permission is working part-time now until you do fill the full-time again?
That's correct. So once the full-time position is filled, one
You
of the
create
part-timers
another
will able to
part-time
still have-
position, then you'd have an open position.
Right. That's being filled by a part-timer.
Yeah, that's
That's
exactly.
completely trained and knows our entire system.
I understand that.
Yeah. Who was sergeant up until a month ago. I don't know.
Okay, is there?
Mayor, in reference to your earlier question, as far as something on the local level, I don't know how it is in other parts of the country, but Ronald was telling me the other day, if anything, he's seeing an increase in activity of the people with new home construction loans. In other words, those that were planning on doing a new home, they did not change their plans. As the time went on, they're still following through with their plans to buy or build a new home. So that
That's
shows a bit
great.
of optimism on the part of the public.
Yes.
And all this stuff has not slowed down our gas department one bit. You know, we're still, we still have all kinds of work orders for people moving and new services. And, it's just nothing is slowed down that I can tell.
Right.
Okay. Is there any more discussion on the budget? We have a motion and a second to approve on second reading. Are you ready to vote? All right, all those in favor of the budget, passing the budget on second reading, say aye.
Aye.
Are those opposed? It is a unanimous vote to approve the budget on second reading. 8.4, a motion to adopt ordinance 2020-004, an ordinance amending the town of Somerville's municipal zoning code to rezone the property located at 14790 Highway 64 from rural residential to limited business on first reading.
Yes, this has been on the agenda for several months, but we kind of put it on the side until we could have a meeting in public, a public meeting in public. So I'm assuming that we'll be able to have a public meeting in public in July, but I don't know that for sure, but I think we can operate it like this. It seems to work okay.
This has been recommended by the Planning Commission. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt ordinance 2020-04 on first reading. Is there any discussion?
Where's
What type
this?
of business will be?
Yeah, what business is this?
It's not a business. It would be a lot that is located next to Rickman Motors on the east side of Rickman Motors there on Highway 64.
Okay. I remember.
And the owner says that he currently really does not have any plans to actually do anything right away. The adjoining property owner, as far as I know, is not opposed. And of course, across the street is already commercial.
I wouldn't think you'll have any opposition to it.
So And of course, we'll have to have a public hearing and it'll come back to the board next month. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Unanimous vote approving ordinance 2020-04 on first reading. A motion to adopt ordinance 2020-005, an ordinance amending 15604 of the Town of Somerville Municipal Code parking on first reading.
So we've had some instances where people parking large trucks on, the state right away, where they're planning to build the bypass, and then on the Fred's parking lot, which is currently vacant. We have really nothing in our code that will allow us to give them a warning and tell them they can't park there. So this will basically afford us the opportunity to either put up a no parking sign if they want to, or we could just give them an oral warning or a written warning in the form of a written ticket or whatever kind of warning the police deem necessary to try to alleviate the parking of large trucks on the vacant properties.
Is there a motion to approve on first reading?
I move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve on first reading ordinance 2020-005, an amendment to the parking ordinance in the municipal code. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Next item on the agenda is a motion to approve Resolution 12-2020, a resolution adopting the Town of Somerville computer, tablet, cell phone, email, and internet usage policy. You have a staff report.
This is basically one of the steps towards attaining the insurance, the ransomware insurance, for the servers. It's a significant insurance, but we have a lot of work to do to get ready to do that. And this is one of the steps, is to basically make sure employees know that they really can't go online certain places. They actually are not supposed to be online as long through the server at all. So other than to do work for the town. So this is basically what's going to happen. It tells you what you need to do for every device that we give out to the town that's a city-owned property. And Mendy did a great job on this, finding this. I don't know, where did you find this, Mendy? You found it someplace and then fixed it for us?
All over the place.
And we ran this past public entity partners, and they agreed with us. We have additional stuff we're supposed to add, and it doesn't really belong in this policy. That each employee is going to have to sign this policy, so they know that we know that they're aware of what they're supposed to be doing with these devices. So there'll be some more policies, storage policies and other sensitive information policies that we need to pass, which we're working on now for next month. We're trying to get ready for the renewal in October.
Okay, are there do we have a motion on this yet?
No, sir.
I move.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to pass the resolution. Let me get the right spot here. Resolution 12-2020, adopting a computer, tablet, cell phone, email, and internet usage policy. Is there any discussion? All of those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Discuss 8.7, discuss adding a plaque for the T-Dot sidewalk project. Location options.
Right, I'll show you the location options in just a second. So I wanted to make sure that all the aldermen were on there. I think they need to center one of those aldermen at the bottom to make it kind of the same on both sides. I'm kind of weird that way. I need to see like balance. They did make it a little larger to fit the extra names on there. And I'll show you the locations that they spotted for us. They're suggesting, I talked to them today, letter either A, which is in the pavers, because really they've already laid all the sidewalk. They don't want to dig up a piece of sidewalk to put it on sidewalk. So either A up there, which is near the Farmer's Hardware end of the sidewalk, or D, which is closer to Fayette Falcon's side of the sidewalk. So it's going to be in the brick pavers that are currently in there, and they will set it in there so that that's in a, stays there for a long time. And it's going to cost us 1/4 of the cost of this plaque, which is about $300.
Good. The plaque is not made now, right?
They haven't made the plaque yet, no, sir.
Okay. And my name, could you add initial F, because there's a couple other James Lofties.
You want an F?
Yeah, James F.
Okay, I'll add it.
Bob, rather than have this thing in the ground, could we not attach it to the Walters Grocery Building or the museum building, rather than have that thing lay
Well, I
on
don't know
the
how we
ground?
would do that, Mike, but it's made of bronze and it's supposed to last for, I guess, for a long time. It's got really raised letters, so if people are walking on it, it's going to last for a while. I think they want it on the sidewalk because it's the sidewalk project, and they're trying to basically, it's an advertisement for Richie Smith, who designed it, and TLM, who was the architect on the project, and then Ensight, who is the general contractor. So, and of course, we get a little prop on there too, because we're, we had something to do with this project. So, but so it's really, they want people in the future to see who did this project. So I think that's what they want it on. That's why they want it on the sidewalk.
Well, I hate to see people walking on Mayor Neal's name.
But maybe they'll make an effort to step on you. They'll just bypass me.
That would be my guess.
I like the idea of it being on the museum building, but
Thank
I
you.
guess you can't buck City Hall, can you?
I could agree with that too. On the side of the building. But it's whatever the vote is. Way I'd be okay with it.
We could always add another one to the museum for that project, for the museum project, once that's open, if you wanted.
Right, because we're working on one grant, and we're going to probably have to work on more than one grant to get the museum building finished.
I move we approve the plaque.
I second
Second.
Who was the second?
Do you,
Mike, is that you?
Sandra was.
Sandra?
do you want to include in your motion the location?
Oh, I thought we were going to do it over there by where in front of the museum, that area.
We can't put it on the sidewalk in front of the museum. We have to put it in the pavers in front of either front of Falcon or in front of,
Farmer's
down
Hardware.
there by Farmer's Hardware.
No, the Falcon would be.
I thought the Falcon was the best one. Myself.
Yeah, I think Falcon's good.
I do
Do you
too.
want to include that in your motion?
I will. I include that in there.
Okay, so we have a motion to approve the plaque at location D on the attached map on West Court Square. Is there any
Okay,
further
I'll second it.
discussion?
Okay.
Vice Mayor Myers, is your second still?
No. Yes.
Okay. You did say yes, that you are still seconding the motion.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so we have a motion and a second to approve the plaque as drawn with the addition of the change in the one name and to locate it in front of the, basically the Fayette Falcon office, which would be item with location D. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Next item, that is the last. Is there any unfinished business to come before the board? Is there any new business?
Yes, sir. I have a piece of new business. I've been putting together some bids for the awning over that's in front of the museum. This weekend with the wind and all the storms that we had on Friday night and whatever, some of that awning is, well, it's on the sidewalk. So I would like approval to go ahead and award that bid this month prior to the July meeting, because it'll be July 13th before we get to it. And since there could be a problem with it in the future, in the near future, I've already gotten one bid under $10,000. I've got another bid today that he's supposed to give it to me today. He'll probably give it to me tomorrow. He's the one working on the other roof down there at the electric building.
I lost you there for a second. Could you
I'm sorry.
repeat what you said?
What I'm seeking is a conditional approval to go ahead and award the contract not to exceed a certain amount of money to replace the awning over the sidewalk in front of the museum.
And what is that conditional amount of money?
Would be $10,000.
Okay. Is there a motion?
I move.
Is there okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve replacing that awning not to exceed $10,000. Is there any discussion?
What is the awning gonna look like?
It's going to basically look the same, except it's going to have a topo roof, a TPO roof on top of it.
A what?
The new they're going to put new gutters and downspouts on it. The water will go out into the street. It'll look a lot better. It's going to be brand new, basically looking. They're going to take the entire thing off except for the poles.
The poles are terrible looking.
They need to be painted, and we can paint those.
They need to be painted, and the size doesn't look appropriate to me.
Yeah, we probably can't change that now
definitely.
since they're in the sidewalk. You know,
Well,
the sidewalk was built around those poles.
I know, but
Yeah,
well,
I think
whatever.
once we paint them, Sandra, they're gonna look a lot better.
Painting may do a lot for them because,
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, are we going to paint them black like the post, or now
Yeah,
they're
we can. Yeah, we can
that
do
might
that.
look better.
What if
We
we
can
put,
discuss that later.
Yes.
what if we put a box, for planting, you know, a box around the pole? That might make it more attractive.
Down near the bottom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
about 3 feet up or something,
Okay.
and make like a box planter around it.
Well,
Okay.
or we might be able to
We could-
wrap the posts to
Right.
give them girth.
A bigger look.
We might, right.
I
They
think we
have
could do that, and the boards would just fit, could be down on the concrete and build that little 6-inch box around the base, like you do.
Yes.
Hey, have y'all seen what Angie's done with her post?
Yes.
Yes.
That
Notice.
looks great. Judy, she's built a brick, what you're talking about, except it's brick around
That's
her
right.
post. It
Well,
really
maybe
looks,
we could follow suit with that.
Maybe.
maybe, yeah. It looks
I
good.
didn't hear who seconded
Of course,
this motion,
hers
by
isn't
the
a
way.
planner, but it just looks like more support for the post. I think it looks real nice.
Yeah. I
Maybe
didn't
we-
hear who seconded the motion. I'm sorry. Who
Lofty.
seconded? Pardon me?
Alderman Lofty.
Okay, thank you, James.
Bob, did you have a resolution for the tourism grant?
Yeah, that was in the consent agenda.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve replacing the awning on the.
I have a question, Ronnie,
All right,
for Bob. Bob, do we maybe need to look into having some of our guys maybe remove the awning if it's maybe can cause a safety hazard, or do you think it can wait till the people that get awarded the contract?
I think it can be done in the next week, and I think it's probably too dangerous for our guys to be playing with it. It's metal, it's rusted, it's sharp. Way too many possibilities of getting injured on it, I think.
I was just thinking that, like you were saying, if the wind got to it, I don't want anybody from the public to it fall on them if it was.
Yes, I got you. That's why we're going to go ahead and take care of this as soon as
Okay,
possible.
that sounds good.
Yes, sir.
I've been sending you.
Do we have a choice in the color of the awning, even though it's metal?
Meeting.
It's going to basically look the same as it looks right now. You mean like on the front lip of it?
Yeah.
I don't know. I can check with them.
Okay.
What would you prefer, black?
Black or dark green, probably. I don't know.
Okay, I'll check with them and see if
Something
there's
traditional looking.
Maybe a beige would make it stand out.
we can talk about that if you'd like to
No,
tomorrow.
maybe
If you guys
so.
want to call me tomorrow, we can talk about it.
Okay.
We'll defer to the people who have a sense about that kind of stuff.
Okay.
okay, we have a motion and a second to approve
Private chat.
up
through
to
Zoom.
$10,000 to replace the awning on the Newbie building. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank
Is
you.
there anything else? Is there anything else?
Not for me.
All right. That concludes the agenda. So without objection, the meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Bob.
Yeah.
When you get a minute, would you give me a call, please?
Tonight?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
Y'all have a good evening.
See you later.
You too.
All righty.